It's after lunch, and so I'm Joel Santos, but I'm moderating this session. As RJ said, I'm the president of TEMS International. Now, usually, as an academic, it's very hard when you can't see your audience, the particular issue. So, the topic is supposedly, how does AI revolutionize industries? So the first part is really, how does AI revolutionize industries? And then we're going to go down is, how will AI revolutionize your life? Diba? So we go from a company, the organizations where we work with, and then we'll end it with how will it change your life? Diba? That was suggested by our speaker, Uni. Diba? So that's what we're gonna do. So don't miss any of it. So I'm gonna move it from right to left and ask each one to introduce themselves. Okay, we have two. So we have two of our panelists named Mike. So at least you'll see the difference later on between the two of them. So the first Mike, yeah, Mr. Mike Lau, maybe you could introduce yourself and what you do.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. So my name is Mike Lau. I'm a managing director for Accenture in the Philippines. I lead the data and AI practice for Accenture Technology here, basically providing data and AI services to our clients, both in the Philippines and also in other countries.
Thanks, Mike. Share naman a fun fact about yourself.
Fun fact, I think recently my time has been torn between this Gen AI world, and then the really conflicting part is really spending time and learning pickleball, because that's kind of like my new hobby. So that's eating up most of my time more than the Gen AI piece.
Who's getting into pickleball now here? Okay. The pickleball, just give you a fun fact, because I'm also into pickleball, is actually, how old are you, Mike?
Data privacy.
Sige, sige. Okay. You'll guess na lang with my fact.
There's a range.
Okay. If you look at there are two interesting sports getting into the world. It's a racket sport. It's padel and then pickleball. Which one do you think is for 50-year-olds and above? Pickleball, you're right. So,
Wala pa ako.
oh, see. Now we know your age. So, ganyan. But don't worry. You can join it if you're younger, right? So, thank you, Mike. Gail, welcome.
So I'm the one seated beside the two mics.
Yes, you are.
Mike, Gail, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm Gail Macapagal. I am the Chief People Officer of Ditaka. It is the newest e-wallet that will revolutionize your lives. So get ready to download it. Nag-plug pa. And I'm also
No, go ahead. It's okay to plug.
I'm also the country director of DynaQuest, and I am a board of trustee of the Healthcare Information Management Association of the Philippines, or HIMAP, and I'm a board of trustee of the Blockchain Council of the Philippines. I'm the founder of Women in Blockchain Philippines. I am a TEDx speaker, and I am the beautiful wife of my husband, Orvin, over there. Thank you so much.
Where's the husband? There. Tayo ka naman. Palakpakan nyo naman yung... Alam nyo, mahirap maging asawa pag maraming ginagawa yung asawa mo. She's so busy, di ba? So, give us naman a fun fact about you.
Yeah, so my fun fact is, and this was pointed out to me just a few minutes ago by my friends, they said that I smell like katinko because it's basically my cologne. I use katinko every 3 minutes and I will die without it.
So, alam nyo na kung ano yung TEDx topic niya. Essential oils, right? Di ba? But actually, I overheard some of her friends said, and I'll share this, sabi nila, haplos queen ka raw because of your katinko. Di ba? So, thanks, Gail. Yes, the other mic. Yan.
Okay, Miss Gail, we have the same cologne. So I'm at that age already. Okay, so I'm Mike Calma. I'm country manager of Advance AI. So we provide AI solutions to fintech and banking. I'm also an advisor of the Global AI Council and a fellow of the Institute of Corporate Directors. So there. Fun fact.
I haven't asked you yet eh.
I'm excited
Ba't
na eh
mo
to
ako
tell the fun
inuunahan?
fact eh.
Sige, what's your fun fact? Since you're excited to share.
I'm a practitioner of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So one might think it's a sport for brutes. It's not. It's a very cerebral sport. That's why I need katinko also. Yeah.
So meron kang Mike, so very easy Mike the pickleballer. Kailangan mo na ng kating. And then Mike the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, di ba? You were thinking of what? What kind of Brazilian? Do they need katingko for that? No. Anyway. Alam mo, mahirap talaga after lunch sa kinakain mo. Hindi mo alam kung gusto. Okay, next. Yusek Giselle, yan.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Undersecretary Giselle Batapa Sige, as introduced earlier. I'm part of the Department of Information and Communications Technology. I actually feel that I am in the wrong panel as of today because my mandate is more on policy, and that was the first panel. But then I remembered when you mentioned the title of this panel, I'm also handling industry. So I'm policy and industry, and later on I'll also touch a little bit on policy that relates to industry.
Thank you, Yusek. So you know na my next question, di ba?
Yes.
No, my next question is...
Your next question, is it about the age? Because
No, definitely.
I will invoke data privacy. No, because
my next question is, do you use katingko? No.
I use different brands.
Iyan. Dapat may
Yes.
competitor ng katingko
Yes.
kasi hindi naman sila sponsor, magagalit si Kat, di ba? So there's so much of katingko here and they're not a sponsor.
And the fun fact.
Yes, your fun fact.
Well, the fun fact would be, although it's not really funny for me, it's really very serious, and I always want to play the role. I'm a provinciana, true-blooded provinciana.
From where?
From the city with the best chicken inasal. And
Ayan.
that's Bacolod. Oo.
Who's from Bacolod here? Yan, di ko kayo nakikita. Who's from Bacolod? Okay.
Ilongga-Gid.
Thank you, Yusek. Okay.
Ayan. So my name is Roland Marco Garcia, CEO of MBGNX. So we do data and AI business transformation. We have offices in Switzerland, Singapore, and the Philippines.
Okay. Maybe tell us a little bit about MBGNX.
Oh, MBGNX, yeah. So we work with large enterprises to essentially transform their operations. So we do a lot of core operations transformation using AI, machine learning, etc. The reason why I think a lot of people ask me, right, the company was founded here, but then you're in Europe as well, right? The level of AI maturity, at least in certain part of Europe, Western Europe, is a bit higher than us, right? And I think I'll share some of these insights later on in the panel, but essentially that's what we do. We work with construction, we work with insurance, consumer, and other industries as well.
Okay, thank you. So who's your favorite pirate? But you know, I told Mike it's up to him if he wants to share why he's very fashionable today, diba? But it's
I'm
really
ready. I'm ready for Halloween. So
Are you ready for Halloween? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you know, aside from basketball, what's your favorite sport?
I surf. That's why I
Yeah.
have this. It's an surfing accident in Siargao. Yeah.
So yun, so our total extreme sports person there. So surfing, so buti na lang it's not from basketball kasi we know basketball's a dangerous sport but not that dangerous, di ba? Kasi talagang, so yes, surfing is great. Finally, right, Uni. Fun fact, 4 months in the Philippines. Let's welcome him naman, bagong dating. Di ba? And I like the fact when he started, you know, that's where you can see. I just have to say this, Uni. You know what caught my attention right away was that you told the crowd, just in case there's some culturally insensitive things that you said, you know, he asked for an excuse for that because it's true, di ba? So you really know he's a man of the world because he can really adjust right away. That's very few speakers do that when they come in because they'll just talk about it. So anyway, not patronizing him, but it really caught my attention. That was nice.
Thank you very much. I was thinking about, but you should ask me, do I use Katinko? And yes, I do use Katinko.
4 months pa lang, you use katingko na?
Yes.
No.
And I'm using it in 3 different forms. I'm using the balm, I'm using the oil, and I'm using the roll-on. right? The roll-on really works well. Yeah. Yes, and roll-on really works well as a sleeping aid, just if you didn't know. So,
We should start the Katinko Association
yes,
of the
we should start a
Philippines.
user group. Yeah, we
It's
should.
good. You know, the Katinko owner is a good friend. I will tell her that, led by you, of course, Gail.
Yeah, so the reason why I got introduced to Katinko, and that's a fun fact, is I've got a 7-year-old boy who trains for Muay Thai, and he was like, Papa, why don't you come and give it a try? And I was like, okay, let me go and try Muay Thai, which is kickboxing. And I realized how fast I think is not how fast my body reacts. So that's why I need Katinko, and that's how I got introduced to it. So
Oh.
that's the story.
Thank
And
you,
that's the
thank
fun
you.
part.
Okay, if you guys start looking bored, I'm gonna ask Mike and Uni to spar in the middle. Diba? Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, diba? AI style, diba? Whatever that looks like. Finally, yan, beside me. Um, I decided to put the one in uniform beside me para mukha akong VIP, diba? With an escort. Colonel, please.
Yes, Colonel Francel Margaret Padilla, the AFP spokesperson currently. I'm a signal officer, 28 years in the service. Signal is command control, communications, and cyber. And most recently, I was designated as the Global AI Ambassador of the Philippines from the Cybersecurity Council based in California. Fun fact na, sir.
Hindi mo na.
magtatanong
You know
pa.
what? Yung isa sa mga most of us had half lang eh. Yung pinadala ng kanyang assistant, ang haba-haba. So I'll share some of it, right? Did you know she is the Wonder Woman in tech? Ayan, di ba? So different uniform. I don't know what you wear when you are the Wonder Woman in tech, but that's one of your titles, right? She is also recognized the Epic Woman in Cyber. You know, your titles are nakakatakot eh. But you know what's nice about this is that she's a Filipina, and then she won the Global Cybersecurity Woman Leader of the Year in 2020, surpassing nominees from 62 countries. Let's, diba? Proud, diba? Proud Pinoy. And I think we do need that kind of protection. So at least we have that. So, let me start off. Ay, sorry, forgot your fun fact. Ako dami ko sinabing Wonder Woman ka and everything. Fun fact.
I do VVIP security, so I used to be the uniformed aide at the back of GMA nung tiniente ako. So I do VVIP security. I am a pistol expert and a judoka, so I can do sparring with these two gentlemen.
Okay.
Beside.
Okay. Pag na-bored talaga kayo, 3 people are gonna go rumble here later. Di ba? So,
Yes,
with
sir.
Gail holding her katingko. No,
Yes, but
Yeah.
at the back of that, sir, I'm a 100% kikai when I'm in civilian clothes. So, yeah, pink is the color.
Wow. See? When she's in front of the audience, she's this look. When you see her in the mall, naka-pink. Di ba? I think that's more of you being in disguise, right? So, thank you. So, di ba? Don't you think our panel is very interesting? So, let's start off. Uy, may palakpak.
Mr.
Thank you.
Moderator, one fun fact.
Yes, ma'am.
Colonel Francel, Yusek Giselle, and myself, we are all part of the group that Yusek Giselle founded. It's called the Digital Innovation for Women's Advancement, and she is the leader of that organization. And we're all part of it.
The women in tech. Yan. Thank you, Yusek Giselle, for putting that together. So, quick lang, di ba? You know, Uni shared a lot of things, very interesting. From an industry perspective, he shared about innovation opportunities, di ba? And he also told us, rethink the end-to-end customer experience when you use AI. He also said, we have to make sure that AI improves business outcomes, right? So parang that's in about 15 minutes, that's for me that's the only thing I remembered, unfortunately. There's a lot more. But please, any highlight from Uni's talk? Anybody? Something that you just want to emphasize that's actually related to what you're doing today. Anybody want to go first?
Yeah, I could go first. So the frameworks that you showed, Uni, it resonated with me because if AWS provides the whole infrastructure around it as well as the technology, we at Advance AI deep dive into specific use cases. This includes identity risk management and credit risk management. So how does that translate to a benefit to the customer? With identity risk management, we know that there are a lot of e-wallets already and platforms where you sign up. So what we do is to ensure that whoever is signing up is a legitimate personality, number one. And when it comes time to underwrite said person for a loan, we make sure that using AI, they are underwritten fairly and they are given the proper amount of loan, for example, that they could pay off and they won't be translated into a non-performing individual. So I think that's on the surface. I'll give the other panelists.
So, in other words, for what you do, it will benefit Ditaka as a
Oh, absolutely.
Have you met each other before today?
Oh, this is our first time meeting.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It is very serendipitous.
And then may kliyente na kayo, di ba? Make money from each other. So, in that regard, Gail, what's your... Ikaw na sunod ko.
So I'm wearing my HEMAP hat right now. So AI will revolutionize healthcare in terms of what? In terms of diagnosis, in terms of treatment, in terms of research, and in terms of patient care. So we all know how it is being used right now. For example, I think my favorite example is that it can detect early, it can do an early detection on any disease. And then also the simplest chat GPT can give you an answer to all your medical or health questions. And I think that when it comes to the diagnosis, the diagnosis,
Does AI help in memory?
say again.
Does AI help in
I
memory?
hope so, no? My memory is so bad. So in terms of diagnosis and patient care, I think that we have a long way to go, but the future is promising because of AI.
It's really interesting that AI can really help in patient care. No? How do you use that for husband care since your husband is here?
Actually, my husband takes care of me.
Oh,
so
yung baliktad.
let's
So he's
ask
the
him.
AI.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. You know, just another fact. So, Thames International, we do skills mapping and we work with HEMAP on the Philippine Skills Framework. And this is really an exciting field to be in, particularly how AI will do that. So, exciting time. So, wearing your HEMAP hat, it is really great. Okay, were you going to say something, Mike?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. I can.
Okay.
Okay, so what Uni said, I think is very similar to what we saw in or what we're seeing in Accenture. No? So last year, he did mention it was a year of POCs. And when last year, it was also a big thing for...
Sorry, I will just tell. Do you know what POC is? POC
of-
means proof of
Concept.
concept. Yeah, it means it worked, right?
So last year, so it was when we launched our Gen AI POV last year at the Davos conference. A lot of it was about how do you reinvent with Gen AI. But then this year, it's really more about how do you scale Gen AI because everyone has been able to see the value, right? And so with the advent of technology and everything and all these fast changes that we saw in the past few weeks and past few days, the question is really how do you scale and adopt? And that really, and the important thing to consider would be to understand what value, what process are you trying to reinvent? I think a lot of people are still trying to, a lot of companies that we look at, still look at it in terms of, hey, can I do this only for this particular work or function or task? Versus looking at it end to end, which is where we would see the value, right? And then the second thing maybe that I know Uni also highlighted is what we see with our clients is that while we want to do the Gen AI or the AI piece, we notice that a lot of them, they don't have the right data foundations, the right digital foundation for them to take advantage. So it's really important, and I like that Uni mentioned that data is important, that you have to have the right structure to make sure you can take advantage of that.
Just to add to that, data. Where's your data stored? Or is a lot of your data still in paper form? You know, which, you know, as part of the education industry, majority of the data of all institutions are still in paper form. So something to really think about, right? You're talking about data, but current data is still in physical form, right? In one way or the other. And then we have to move it digital. So it's not overnight. So we're talking about use cases. Uni said, you know, AI was introduced. Supposedly 2025 will be the year when there'll be a lot of use cases. But also remember, we're in different stages, right? If you're going to start with data as a foundation, where is your data? And that's something to ask yourself. And where is it stored, right? So, Roland, yes, sorry. You were going to say something.
Yeah, no,
cut
so
you
I
off.
wanted to echo what both of them said, right? So even in Europe, we've seen a lot of CEOs, even large companies, right, still asking the question, where can we use AI, right? And we see a lot of sparse pilots here and there, probably in the finance department, the HR, marketing, right? But we think that, at least in our practice, right, the real transformational effect of AI happens when it's, number one, end-to-end, but number two, if it touches, it's business-led, not tech-led. There's a lot of CEOs right now delegating it to their CIOs, to their CTOs, right? But we think that if you look at AI in terms of the business metrics, then it changes complexion in terms of its effect, right? So we think that holistic deployment of AI, as well as the infrastructure within your organization in terms of talent, in terms of operating system, of course, data, right? If your data is not good, AI would not be as effective. And the tech, right? So business-led and then holistic, I think, will get the real value of AI for organizations.
So I just want to repeat what he said, no? Business-led, not just tech-led. Kasi di ba, whenever, for those who are running companies here, pag merong bagong technology, you give it to your tech guy, aralin mo nga to, di ba? And then he will give you the recommendation. But it's coming from his point of view as a tech guy. So there's no such thing as an IT course for me, as somebody from the academe. Everybody needs to know IT. So that's the thing. Don't outsource the tech side because everybody has to know it. It's just, I know it's hard to sometimes think about it, but this phone has so much technology and you're using it every day. So just think of learning AI as something that learning to use your phone because you need it every day. It's particularly the business sectors. Thanks, Roland. Okay, the two
Hi.
women in green. Yusek.
Yeah, actually, if Colonel wants to say something, she can go ahead. Kasi ang joke namin kanina, if I get the mic, I usually speak for 90 minutes. One segment. No, just kidding. Anyways, okay, the best takeaway from what Uni said is that Katingko makes you sleep. That's very good. Reason why, yesterday, I had only 2 hours of sleep because I'd like to make this very important announcement. Last night, the first ever AI safety scientific report, which is a collaboration of more than 40 countries, 90 experts around the world, 298 pages was finally released. So it's something that we will launch next month. And I'm proud to say that of the 30 countries that were involved, the Philippines is part of it.
Wow,
And-
palakpakan naman po natin yan. Si Yusek didn't sleep because she read the 291 pages. Yun ba yun?
Yeah, binasa ko. Although hanggang mga 100 page lang ako because I had a very bad nosebleed. It's so scientific, it's so technical, as mentioned
Attorney,
earlier.
it's just like law school, di ba? Parang
Yes.
preparing for the bar.
Yes, and I'm happy to share that I think half of the people here, I've worked with their companies in my past life before I was USEC, with HIMAP, with Accenture, with AWS many, many years ago for your CSR for teachers in my province. And so my lens for industry is really expansive, spanning 2 decades. So that's why I don't want to say my brand. It's not Katingko, it's White Flower. anyways,
Who knows white flower?
wala.
Ayan, you know your age. Or your mom or your parents come from my generation.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would like to say that everything that was said, even during the keynote speeches, resonated with what we do at the Department of Information and Communications Technology. It has to be a whole-of-nation approach. It has to be holistic. And I think I got really inspired by how Uni presented it. Words like you need to deploy systems that can run effectively on gravel, on sand, on water. And that's also my thinking about policies and strategies that any country should deploy in terms of AI. It should be agile, it should be holistic, that it can run and really make effective simple AI, complex AI use. And so I just would like to emphasize that every one of us wants to really make use of all emerging technologies so that we can uplift this country. And I think the platform should be an innovative ecosystem. What's happening now is we have a very sophisticated tool, but there's really no innovative ecosystem where we can maximize it. And as your ITU counselor, sitting amongst 48 countries, elected by 194 countries, and the Philippines is sitting there, and I'm proud that a woman is your representative there, just like us in the DIWA. By the way, Colonel is the first AFP spokesperson who's a woman after many, many
Yan.
years. Yeah. So probably I'm also the first woman representative in the ITU, but I'd like to...
Women power tayo. Women's Month nga pala in
Yeah, next month.
March.
Yeah.
Hindi pa tayo Feb. So tama,
Yeah.
March. Women's Month.
So I'd like to quickly mention that when we want to create a national innovation ecosystem, there's at least 6 pillars. And it looks like a sandwich. There's a layer on top, and there are fillings inside, and there is another layer of bread at the bottom. And the first layer of bread is really policy. And in the middle are industry, markets, linkages, human skills, infrastructure, and everything. And the lower bread of the sandwich is really mindset and culture. So very important is policy. And so my advocacy is really to ensure that the policies in this country, particularly in digital, supports and does not kill industry. Supports and does not kill emerging technologies. And so my takeaway from what Uni said was policies, standards, strategies has to take into consideration first governance. So AI governance. I'm also happy to announce that next month, we will be the pilot country for the first ever Alan Turing AI governance training. So 6 professors from London will be flying to Manila to train policymakers, people in government, DOST, DICT, and DTI, and DepEd and other departments. High level, we have to be locked inside a room for 4 days to learn about AI governance. Okay? And the other thing is, I think what he emphasized was development and resources. It's very costly. Security, cybersecurity, integration, he mentioned that. Data governance, of course, a data governance framework is imperative in the Philippines. We don't have it yet. You ask about storage. Aside from storage, we need to look at use, reuse, resharing of data. Privacy, most of all, the key concern now of the DICT together with other departments is human resource and capability, because we have reports showing how AI will disrupt our workforce, and risk management as well. And so overall, in that 15-minute speech, I think I will have to talk again to Uni to get some more insights. Thank you.
I'm actually speechless kasi parang I don't have a job as moderator. Yusek, pwedeng ikaw na lang mamaya mag-summarize. Kasi sinamarize mo. I mean, when I was telling, she summarized your talk. How effective, right? Exactly. You know what you're like? You're like the AI in Zoom, di ba, that summarizes everything. They should change the name to, Joselle, di ba? Di ba? Galing eh. So, very good. Thank you. But before I go to Colonel, to the Wonder Woman of Tech, government's important. This is, I think the biggest one is the mindset and the adoption. And if government doesn't come in, and I'm really glad to hear, we'll be left behind again. Eh. So it is really very encouraging that government is really taking a lead in all of this. And I hope that all of us would really take advantage when the government tries to roll out their programs with us. So, Colonel, security. That's a lot of the people don't want to use AI tools because they're so concerned about security. The first time, remember when AI came out, it was supposed to be a fun thing. You can put your face and then you can be an alien. You can look like a K-pop star. You can look like anybody. And then people started spreading that if you put your face there, they can impersonate you. So people stopped using it. So people are scared of AI because of security. So maybe I'd like to go straight to that na, di ba, Colonel? When you talk about, also kasi just in case pinatawag yan, you know naman how things are as a spokesperson. If she gets a call, she has to leave. So maybe you can talk about AI from the point of view of security, di ba? Or maybe you can even touch on about cyber, right?
Yes, sir. With all of them giving their points, we actually resonate completely with all of Uni's points, no? Because in the military, we have a different kind of business than the others. We are in the business of human lives. So I've been part of some conversations in The Hague about the use of AI in the military because it's a different view altogether. The bottom line is how to govern the use of AI to it becoming ethical, and over and above that is how the military will use AI but not completely dependent on AI. So if you look at AI, we look at it following certain algorithms. But in the military sector, if we put an algorithm, say in Malacanang Palace, we have a 5-kilometer radius no-fly zone in Malacanang Palace. So if we put the anti-aircraft system on top of the palace and configure it to have an AI to take down any aircraft that goes to the 5-kilometer no-fly zone, then the students in Airlink who has no idea that that is the case, just aircraft flying by would be having a different kind of story after. So the thing is, we cannot 100% use AI if it's...
Yung mga ibon po, pwede bang no-fly zone ba sila sa Malacanang or aircraft lang? No?
Yeah, sir, hintayin namin yung report ng CAAP, sir, for us to fire and forget. So those things, no, those are the things that we really look into the use of AI in the military. It cannot be 100% unmanned for military systems. So that's why we have to look into the use of AI, and we do a lot of POCs, considering that we have a geopolitical tensions that we're facing right now. And with the geopolitical tensions, it's bundled with our modernization projects, considering that, sadly, in order to attain peace, we have to prepare for war. And so, with that said, we have to also look at the angle of AI being used against our country in different manners to compromise our security. And so, in the military, what we're looking for are solutions to be part of our modernization projects to use AI for defense.
Actually, AI for security is really critical, diba? It's both a tool to defend and a tool to attack, right? So on both sides. Maybe there was a recent issue that somebody impersonated our president, PBBM, diba? And I forgot now what the impersonation was. So like, for example, that one, how did your office handle something like that?
The technology that was used was not yet state-of-the-art, so to speak. So there's really a lot of red flags when you watch it. So it was very easy to actually debunk it being fake news. But as the technology increases in being so much more state-of-the-art now that the videos are now inclusive of your own voice being part of it, so these are all very worrisome in the future, as this is now being widely used for warfare as well.
Okay, so AI being used to impersonate or identity theft is a big thing, diba? But so before we go into that topic, let me ask Yusek Giselle, diba? If you're gonna use AI to impersonate anybody, who do you want to be?
It's a very hard question. I'm so happy with who I am. Okay?
Ayan, palakpakan naman
yeah,
ulit.
yeah.
Miss Universe.
yeah.
Sorry, yeah, that was a Miss Universe question. She gave me a Miss Universe answer.
But maybe a slimmer version. No. I want to chime into what Colonel said. Although this is in a way preempting the scientific report which we will launch. But anyway, it's launched internationally. It's very clear of the 298-page scientific report on AI safety that all the experts in the world are saying that AI is not a tool for bad things. I mean, it's not a bad technology. It's a good technology. It will, in fact, increase, as everyone said, productivity, precision, business profit, accountability, and everything. We just need to put in more guardrails. That's why the focus now is really to train policymakers to really put the right thing, balance innovation and regulation.
Thank you. I am not pushing Yusek Giselle on that question because, Thames work with the ICT to do the industry maps for the ICT. So, baka wala na akong project if I push that question. So, I'm gonna push that to Mike. Which Mike do you think yan? Sa Jiu-Jitsu yan. Oh, hindi, sige, Mike, pinigay mo na kay Mr. Mike Lau eh. So, if you're gonna use AI to impersonate anybody, who will it be?
Hirap naman ng tanong, no? I don't think
It's a very intelligent crowd here. They have a hard time answering a question like that. So,
No, I don't think I'll impersonate someone, but I would like to have some sort of like an agent, an AI that kind of can assist me in real time. Especially, for example, now I don't know the answer. Can an AI answer for me and help me in like answer your questions? But in another way, but almost like how can you have someone? How can you really have some sort of an agent that's in real time learning what you are doing, right? Or what you've read, where you are, and then able to help you. I mean, imagine if you have something like that I'm sure it's realistic and you can do that now. If you can do that, the productivity, the insights that you can gain quickly, right, is there.
Thanks, Mike. So it's not about impersonating, but actually, again, as you can see, our panelists are very high level. They don't want to give an example. They're talking about a better use of AI than impersonating somebody. So let's go into something practical. I'm gonna ask each one.
I could give a use case.
Oh, sige. Give a use case about impersonation.
I don't want to impersonate anyone, but in the wild, in the industry, we have seen people impersonating valid account holders of any platform, financial or other platform that has any monetary angle to it. So it is indeed an arms race for our AI systems to detect it. And also, it's not only the AI. Some of these cases will be relegated to actual human agents, right, to determine if this is indeed a valid transaction or is it an impersonation.
So impersonation is, even though we make fun of it, it's a real risk. So, Colonel, how can somebody protect themselves from being impersonated by AI?
Basically, AI can do that really, but for you to protect yourself, don't put too much digital footprint, which is very difficult for Filipinos because we really have a very big digital footprint. We have a very large population who is in social media. We used to be the text capital of the world, and now we are the most presence in social media. So if we have less footprint, then the less probability of us also being a victim of AI impersonation. But so that's the only thing. That's the only way to go. We have laws now with the Data Privacy Act and all those things, but it's the individual themselves who posts everything. You even actually say where you are by checking in on coffee shops where you are, and even your homes. So basically, it's all in social media. So the less digital footprint you have, you just have to look at yourself on how much you want to share out there, and that's your protection.
Wow, diba? As you said nga, Filipinos always like to share eh. So my tip para nobody will steal your identity, lagay nyo lang yung picture ng kaaway nyo sa Facebook nyo. Baka siya na lang ang ma-impersonate ng AI. But, you know, it's really a risk because we are trapped. So I'll ask the big multinationals, AWS and Accenture, this is a hard question. You always send us, we have to agree to your terms and conditions. Do I have a choice not to agree? So you have everything about us, right? Did you ever disagree? Wala namang disagreement na. You have to check it, right? So may I find out from, so we trust you, that's why, and we trust you and we have no choice, we have to tick it, diba? So how does the big companies, tech companies in the world, how do you protect us, from all of this risk out there now, given that you have our data?
Well, I'll try to kind of dissect that, right? Like I am from the enterprise side of the business, but let's talk about the end. Let's talk about the end. So I'm from the enterprise side of the business, but we deal usually with not end users, but B2B, right? Like we are businesses. So, but then Amazon also has a B2C aspect. I'll not talk specifically about Amazon because I don't want to be off script, but I'll try to give a general view of where the industry is going. So how many people have been using Android for the last 10 years? Some of us, yeah. Back in the day, I'm talking 2012, when you install an application, it just installs an application. It has access to everything that you needed. But today, when you install an application, it needs to access your camera. It asks for that specific permission now. It needs to your location. It asks for a specific permission now. It needs to access your contacts. It asks for permission now. Before you copy something from one application to the other application, it asks you, do you allow me to paste from this app to this app? So I think what will happen eventually is, as policymakers will step in and as customers or end users will become more educated, they will start asking for more control of the data. And when that starts happening is when the regulators and the government will come in and start being more prescriptive on how can you use the data for what. So now, for example, in the Europe, you can't use the data. Like back in the day, it used to be like, we will use the data for whatever we want, right? But now it's getting very specific. We will use this data for X, Y, and Z. So I think that is where it will become more controlled. And I think once all organizations will get into that, and once regulation changes, they will have to get the consent back from the user that they want to do it.
I'm going to go back to you, Sek. I'm going to ask first the other big player here, right? So they said that on the AWS side, they're being polite. On the Accenture side, what's your style?
To set context, like we work with enterprises, with businesses for their digital solutions. One of the things that we also work in collaboration with them is understanding what kind of solution do they want to build or we want to build for them, and understanding which kind of data we only touch, right? So back to Uni's point, we only use what data we need. It's not like get everything. And so we go back to the same principles of use the data that you only need, and of course, respecting all of the data privacy laws and all of these things. So.
Thank you. Yusek, I'm going to go to both Yusek and Colonel, diba? So as government, how do you protect us, diba, from these things? And maybe some, not too long naman.
Yeah,
just,
okay.
just in the general.
Anyways, I'm afraid I'm again gonna sound very boring. So anyways, my point is this, very important to emphasize, and that has been emphasized since this morning, data. Data is the new oil, data is the new soil, data feeds on AI. It's very important that we have a very solid foundational data governance framework and policy. And that's why in the DICT, we have, aside from our AI policy dialogues, where we co-create policies with stakeholders, we also have D4D, which is data for development. We want to be able to emphasize that Filipinos should be data lovers rather than marites, because it's very important that data is properly used. So just to point out...
Right data. Because there's also bad data. So
Yeah,
yes,
well,
data lovers of the truth,
yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
I have to say that it really depends on the user. That's why the scientific report really states that it's really the user that makes the tool bad or good. That's why it's important that as policymakers, and this is one thing Uni said, we have to be very agile in making policies. The big problem in the Philippines is it takes years, even decades, to create policies. And please note, policies are not necessarily just regulation. Policies are also there to support and help your industries grow.
Thank you, Yusek. We won't go into details, sempre, but I'm going to ask Colonel in just general detail. Parang, so how do you protect us, diba, from potential cyber war, diba? And what are the strategies of the government to ensure that we're all protected?
In a nutshell, the mission of the Armed Forces of the Philippines is to protect the people and secure the state. And now it transcends towards the cyber domain because it's the contemporary new challenges that we're facing. So our organization has been also evolving. So along with land, air, and sea, the Air Force, the Army, and the Navy, we now have the Cyber Command. So with that, we are now transcending towards protecting Filipino people in the cyber domain. And with that, we also created the Intelligence Command. And so you see in the news, no, that there are now some issues that are coming out. So with this, you have seen that the AFP is also evolving in facing contemporary new modern challenges in relation to the geopolitical tensions that we're facing. Dati, it's the army who's taking the front in everything, no? They're sila yung bida. Now it's the navy who's taking the front lines in the battlefield, so to speak. So there are two domains where we can play a same battlefield with a superpower nation. That's the information domain and the cyber domain. So there's no rich and poor countries in these two domains. And us Filipinos can also take a stand in that. So let us use that power. Our right is our might. With our great online presence, we can use information domain to our advantage. Spread the right narrative, kill the wrong narrative. Stop the spread of fake news. And in the cyber domain, if we have really very good cyber warriors, so in coordination with the ICT, we're doing a lot of cyber hygiene trainings because that's the only way. No, if Filipinos, everyone will be very, very wary of cyber hygiene and protect themselves collectively, we're forming that barrier of protecting the whole Philippine cyber domain.
Thank you, thank you. Palapakan na natin, meron ng Cyber Command. Did you know that? At least now you know we have protection also on the cyber domain. I'm going to leave some room for questions, but before that, we have to go into the consumer side. So I'm going to ask the private sector reps, the non-multinationals, diba? Our startups. So they're not anymore startups. But question, I'll start with. Sige, I'll start na lang. I won't always start with Gail kasi she might say. Roland, question. What's your favorite AI app aside from ChatGPT, and why? What else do you use? In other words,
I just started using DeepSeek actually.
you started using DeepSeek,
Yeah,
okay, and
because
then
of the whole thing. I think it's equally comprehensive as ChatGPT, but then what's impressive about it is they did it with like probably 1% of the cost, right?
no, but you as a user,
As a user, I use Perplexity. I use ChatGPT.
you use Perplexity. What is Perplexity?
Llama AI. It's an LLM.
Yeah, so why do you like using Perplexity?
So I ask this. Okay, I use it when I do inciting.
Okay,
right?
when you do
So when
inciting.
especially with our work, right, in transformation, right. So there's a lot of information that we gather from our transformation audits that we do, right. So all of this information need to be concisely and comprehensively, essentially recorded, right. So I prompt the same thing for ChatGPT, Perplexity, even Llama sometimes, right?
Just to compare.
Just to compare, right?
Okay.
So yeah, it's
Perplexity. So, Uni said, if you want innovation opportunities, one is inciting. So you can use Perplexity. Uni said that. Remember, What are the 4 innovation opportunities? Anyone from the audience? Okay. It's
Exciting.
new experiences, productivity, insights, and creativity. Okay, those are your innovation opportunities.
Ako, I have an answer to that question.
Yes. What's your favorite?
My favorite is Notebook LLM.
Notebook
It
LLM.
will actually, parang deep fake, no? It can actually clone your voice and your face, and you can actually create a podcast using that. You just input the topics that you like, you just input things about yourself and what you want to put out in the podcast, and it will create one that is fairly accurate.
So Gail naman is using Notebook LLM for the creativity opportunity, right? For innovation. Okay, Mike.
Okay, for me, Baduy ko ChatGPT, pero ChatGPT Plus. The
The
reason
Plus.
I use Plus is that
Because you have budget, so you can use the plus.
Ah.
Okay, most of us don't have budget. Okay, sige.
actually it's 999 per month. So I reckon if I give up my Netflix and Disney Plus, afford ko na si
That's right, that's
GPT
right.
Plus. So bakit ako napapunta sa Plus? Kasi when I use ChatGPT free, I have trust issues with my doctors eh. So when I receive my X-ray, my MRI, my labs, in-upload ko sa ChatGPT
So you
free.
upload it, your,
Yes.
your x-rays.
Yes,
in-
sabi ni
okay.
ChatGPT free, limit exceeded. Sabi ko, napapabili ako ng Plus nito. So I
Okay.
use Plus. And then, when I talk to my doctors, I speak like I know what I'm talking about already. So the reason I have low trust issue with my doctors is that just last year, I had an appendectomy.
Okay.
Pero hindi na-detect ng intern IM ko, hindi niya na-detect. She thought it was something else. So
But ChatGPT detected it.
yes, surprisingly.
When you uploaded
from
the
the labs, from the imaging. Okay, so what saved me was my surgeon looking at the X-ray and he said, I need to operate on you right now. And lo and behold, my appendix was ruptured already, and I was a few days away from sepsis. So not to disrespect any doctors out there, my wife is a doctor. She didn't detect it as well. So I think it's a very nuanced case. Very nuanced case.
Kailangan ng wife mo ng AI caring app, di ba? So, you didn't detect it.
ChatGPT
Very
Plus.
interesting, no? So that's a very interesting story that I'll share in my next few talks. But yes,
Yeah.
you said
answer
Giselle, you're
also?
smiling. Oh, what's
sige.
there?
So I'm basically not so tech, but I am very creative. So I use the AI of Canva, which is very heavy, ang ganda-ganda. If you go to my website, joselbatapasige.com, most of the pictures there are Canva generated. In ChatGPT Pro, I've explored Sora, ang ganda, video. I was able to produce 60-seconder, 120-seconder. I also use the AI of Zoom for minutes of meetings. And last night, I had a very fun night with Gemini.
Wow. Parang ang dami mong AI
Yeah.
friends.
He answered all my emails.
You know, another fun fact that she didn't share, si Yusek Giselle, she's a right and a left brain because she's also an artist. Diba? So, well-rounded. So,
But I have a trivia para lang funny. So I tried to use ChatGPT for my legal classes because I teach for the last 22 years in law school. I tried to have ChatGPT make an assignment. Alam mo, mali. Nabooking ako ng mga estudyante ko.
but they told you, ma'am,
Oo,
chat
sabi niya,
GPT
ma'am,
yan?
hindi namin makita yung case. Parang mali yung citation mo. Sabi ko, I didn't forget about it. It's okay.
So, what we're also trying to tell students is don't accept any AI results at its face value. Why? That makes you dumb, right? With AI is not supposed to make us dumber. It's supposed to make us smarter because you have something to actually analyze. And that's why, sorry, as an educator, we do have a problem if critical thinking is very low in this country because you will end up accepting AI results at face value. So imagine Mike, di ba, if he thought that if he just accepted things at face value, then he might not be here now, right? So, nakita mo ba nung pinasok mo yung x-ray mo kung lumabas yung Wolverine ano mo? Hindi.
Check ko mamaya.
So, okay, we only have 10 minutes, di ba? Is there any question or I'm gonna continue because there's so much content here. Anybody wants to sing it something? Wag na fun questions, please. Something serious. Anybody? Lagay niyo sa chat GPT, what should we ask this panel? There, I have one there. Do you want to shout it out or kasi sige, puntan lang ako sa'yo kasi walang mic dyan. Wow, hirap ng trabaho. Moderator lang. Now,
Hello, my name is Jasmine Endaya. I'm the marketing head of Globaltronics. So we all know the 5 stages of AI, and we're now, of course, with Gen and I. And right now we are entering where AI is now driving the world and human is assisted. So as Sir Mike have said, the AI agents will, they are currently, there are a lot of companies who are currently doing it. Even I have a startup for AI agents. So the question is, do you think the AI agents will be able to, what do you call this? Replace, for example, social media managers, customer service representatives, or even, the usual mundane tasks, the usual rank and file employees usually do in a company. And what are your thoughts on that?
thanks. Which mic? We have 2 mics.
Ata.
Oh,
I can
mic. Okay. So, but before, if maybe you can also touch on that question since will they be replaced? And if somebody can answer, what should you do so that you're not replaced? Diba? We also need that answered. So somehow if you can touch. Okay, go Mike.
Okay, thank you for your question. So I'll answer it in a few different angles. No? So number one, agree marketing is one of the, I would say, the best use cases that we've seen so far, especially with image generation, content generation. One example that for example, we did in Accenture is we created our own platform for AI, which we piloted, incidentally, to our marketing team, right? So they have agents, whenever they create campaigns now, whenever they write something, there's an agent that looks at it and says, hey, we've done this before, do you want to look at this again? Or you're writing something new, it might not be differentiated. So that in that aspect, right, it helps the marketer be more efficient, right? It's not, I mean, they could have achieved the same thing in maybe a few more hours, a few more people, but then here, they're able to do something fast, right, quickly. And in relation to your other question around AI replacing tasks, I think it's true that it really automates, right, a lot of the, I would say, the tasks. But as I mentioned earlier, you need to think about the end-to-end value. And while AI will automate certain tasks, there will be new experiences that will be created. So one example could be, in the past, you have a website, right? You're a hotel owner, for example, you post and you go to your site, you have your normal hotel pictures. What if someone from, who's, let's say our moderator, right? He likes to play pickleball. What if he goes to a resort? The resort knows he likes pickleball. It will show pictures of the pickleball court they just recently featured. So imagine the hyper-personalization in that aspect. That requires a new way of thinking around marketing, a new business that you need to think about, right? The way you think about your marketing, your normal marketing, approach and strategy. So I would say that partly it creates new, I would say, business opportunities for you. But one thing that you also need to think about is, AI and human together, and you have to make sure that people are trained, right? They know what to do. In my other example earlier with marketing, we found out that one new job or role that we found out was there are people who now will train AI agents. So they're AI trainers, because it's kind of like a child that you need to train so that it becomes better. You know how to trust the AI, right? So that's something we're also doing. So it's important to marry people plus the technology.
Thanks, Mike. And
Yeah, just
Roland,
to,
go ahead.
To add to that, right? I'm not sure about 100% replacement, but I do think probably in 5 to 10 years, and probably this is a forecast I've been thinking about recently, right? The labor value of work that can be done in front of a computer will be significantly less than work or labor that can be done physically, right? So what does this mean, right? So if things like management consulting, right? A lot of management consulting companies have been laying off. EY, big management consulting companies, right? Even the big four accounting firms, right? We've also seen a lot of layoffs in the BPO industry, right? A lot of players are coming in. For example, we are second in the BPO industry in the world. A lot of players on AI voice agents are coming in, right? So complete replacement might not be, might still not be there, but the labor value goes down. At the same time, I think the underlying question is, are we going to lose our jobs? I don't think the question can be, how do we upgrade our jobs to the future, right? So it's loss displacement versus upgrading, right? So I think that's what I
think that's a good point, diba? It's not about replacement, but it's upgrades. So very good point of view also. Anybody else wants to chime in? Yes.
So,
Gail.
I'm a pioneer of the BPO industry. I started out as a call center agent in 2002, and I rose up the ranks. And you're correct, no, that AI might replace some of the jobs, but that's why we are human beings. We have to upskill. We have to use our critical thinking. We have to ensure that we do not lose our drive to learn and our passion to strive for the better. So I think that, in essence, it can affect, but we have to stay present and committed and ahead of the curve.
Thank you, Gail. One last question, then we can now start ending and wrapping up. Yes.
Hi everyone, I'm Carl, CEO of Ticket Nation Philippines. Also, I'm a member of eHeads, which is a group of technological leaders. So basically, I just want to ask a question for everyone. If there's a plan for the government or the big corporation regarding the skill gap right now. So basically, there's a lot of unemployment, but there's a lot of demand for the jobs, but for the senior level. Is there a plan how you plan to connect for those entry or new graduates to venture to the AI world? So basically, on entering tech, you need to enter via front-end developer, back-end developer. But right now, those skills are basically connected directly on how we use AI. So it's hindi na masyado kailangan yung magsimula ng front-end, back-end. So how would government help by cybersecurity, the big corporations like Accenture, on helping those entry-level people? Yeah.
Galing. I was going to end with that question.
Can I answer?
Yes. So let me just summarize that. So the question is,
In 1 minute.
in AI has a lot of opportunities, but the skills gap, diba? How are we going to learn that very quickly to maximize the opportunity? Yes, Yusek.
Yes, in the whole scheme of things, one of the most important thing about AI is really work disruption. And I agree, there's not so much concentration there. We're all about cybersecurity, about AI governance and all that. But under my portfolio, that's our focus. Big data, to the first question earlier, it's all there printed. World Economic Forum, harnessing ASEAN by LinkedIn, reports from AWS, everybody saying AI will disrupt the workforce, but about 30 to 40% in the next 4 to 5 years. So we need to take that into account very seriously. And the competition is very high. And you are very correct. There are more jobs now than qualified people, especially in the IT BPM industry. You may think we're all filled up, but the hiring rate is still 20%. Hindi siya nagbabago kahit na maingay na tayo, di ba? So what I'm trying to say is, We have a lot of initiatives now, and I'd like to take this opportunity to really thank the private sector. Na-capture siya ng World Economic Forum that much of the skilling that's happening in the Philippines is courtesy of the pay it forward of the private sector. Palakpakan naman natin yung private
Yan.
sector. I mean, I'm
Let's clap
government.
for ourselves.
I'm government, but I see your work. We're working very closely now with Global AI Council, with the Analytics Association of the Philippines, AAP. In fairness to all the organizations, IBPAP, we're also even tapping startups to do CSR trainings. But at the end of the day, you are right. We need to have a Philippine digital skills strategy. And I'd like to announce, in case you're not aware, there's a law, 3 years old pa lang, Philippine Digital Workforce Competitiveness Law, Republic Act 11927, which says digital skilling, especially for emerging technologies, should be mandatory across all ages. Dapat kahit 60 years old ka na, gusto mo pa rin mag-code, pwede. Reskilling, upskilling. Ang kailangan natin gawin is to ask for resources to go to this. Because many of our resources are going to kalsada and so many traditional things.
Basketball court.
So
Pickleball court. No.
we need resources for innovation. Yun lang ang hiling ko in my generation so that the next set of policymakers after our term
Yes.
will not have the same struggle now for resources going to innovation. Because innovation investment should be the same with infrastructure
Okay,
investment.
thank you. So, if I could just add, if you're asking, ano ba yung skills na kailangan? What are the skills needed? That was already provided for by the ICT for AI skills because TEMS, together with the Office of USEC Giselle, we mapped out all of the AI skills. It's called Philippine Skills Framework. Google that and then look for AI skills. Di ba, ma'am?
Plug ko lang, the DICT and the DTI, we have 6 Philippine Skills Framework, AI and Analytics, Game Development, Animation, Contact Center, Software Development. We paid heavily for that. Please have your colleges and universities talk to us to adopt it. Thank you.
Yeah. So,
It's made by the industry.
thank you. And ito, we need more cyber soldiers, di ba? How are we upskilling our soldiers para we're protected?
So in the Armed Forces of the Philippines, we acknowledge that the younger generations are more tech-savvy than the older generations. So we really give a chance to the younger generations to give their fair share of their skill set to the Armed Forces of the Philippines. The misnomer is all of us are fighting soldiers. That's not really the case. In my case, I'm a signal officer. I've been in tech since the start of my career, command control, communications, and cyber. So now we're venturing to AI. So we need to give a chance to the younger ones. And since my Lieutenant days, I used to recruit fresh graduates to give them a chance to have a foot in the door in being in the industry. And we train them. The government trains them. Everything is free in the armed forces. We do all of the trainings. You even have trainings abroad. No? So all throughout my career, I also have been able to study abroad in different capacities, and that is something that we offer. And also the salary for the armed forces now is also at par with the different industries. No? So the Armed Forces of the Philippines, if you want to live a life of service, we have the comprehensive archipelagic defense concept to include upskilling and the additional manning of our personnel. So if that is your passion, being in tech, there is a room for you in the Armed Forces of the Philippines. So come join us as well.
Great. So you'll be under the Wonder Woman of Tech, Colonel Padilla, di ba? So again, opportunities. So with those two from our government sector, I'd like to end by asking each of the private sector panelists here to just say, okay, give an advice to our audience. What opportunity do you think they should take advantage of with AI? Parang one thing. And you cannot repeat what the other person said. Ah. You can add on. Diba? So, okay, who wants to go first? Okay, go Uni.
Yeah, I think we'll just go anti-clockwise. I think
A little higher.
for specifically for individuals, I'll give one advice for the enterprises, one advice for individuals. For enterprises, if you're in the B2B business, right? I've met many enterprises who are in the B2B business who go about thinking, I don't deal with my end customers. Why should I think about AI? Because AI is all about customer experience and stuff, right? But think about this. Eh, the traditional taxi companies were disrupted by the Ubers and the Grabs of the world. The hotels were disrupted by the Airbnbs of the world. The banks are being disrupted by the Gcashes and the Mayas of the world. So you never know who is going to get disrupted by who is going to disrupt your specific business. So think about it, use the tech that you need, and build on top of it. For individuals, when people are asking like what about job replacement, I think there's no it's like asking 20 years back when where banks became computerized. Today every bank has more employees. Today every bank has more technology employees than 20 years back the number of employees, total bank, the number of employees that they had, right? So with AI, as Mike said here, there will be new roles that will be created that will enable AI to be better. So, but again, if your mindset is that I don't want to change, I want to keep doing what I'm doing, then it is not going to be a good outcome. So you need to change with times, you need to upskill yourself and learn the opportunity. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, sorry, I'm taking a bit more time. Like at Amazon and working with our other partners, we have created a lot of reskilling capability. So as Amazon has committed to, in the next 10 years, train 1 million Filipinos in digital and AI skills. But then also we have started specific programs like our Restart program, which catches people who are in their mid-career journey, who are in non-tech, and give them a 90-day boot camp to allowing them and upskilling them for free to become technical professionals. So utilize those capabilities and then reskill yourself and be ready for the next generation of technology change that is coming our way.
Thank you. Thank you for those opportunities for the audience. Roland?
Yeah, for enterprises maybe, because that's our main
Yeah.
work. So I think AI is beyond technology, right? If you really want to capture the business value of AI, it needs to be holistic, needs to, especially when we talk about talent, operating model, data, and of course scaling, right? And we think that before anything else, this has to be a business-led transformation roadmap to get the real ROI from AI. So.
Thank you. So business-led, make a transformation roadmap, but business-led. Thanks. Mike?
Okay, I want to focus on inclusiveness. I know AI sounds like an esoteric term, but at least in terms of mindset, for us, we made sure that our technology is inclusive. And when we look at our customer base, we see that they're targeting not the elite or mass affluent, they're targeting mostly emerging. Right? Although I know that a lot of other platforms have been burned by targeting emerging because they're inherently high risk, but I hope they soldier on to continue targeting that because I think the rising tide lifts all ships.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Gail?
I think the best way really to promote AI is through public-private partnerships. And you have already mentioned that, Yusek Josel. And this is a call to action to all the private entities over here that are still afraid to elaborate or to explore what AI has in store. But I'm sure every one of us already has ChatGPT and the likes. So public-private partnership is very important. So please get in touch with the ICT, DTI, DOT, and all those other, the OST, and all the other government entities that has AI or budget to help us with our AI projects.
Thank you, Gail. Mike?
I think they've said it. A few things I wanted to add. One is really learn and embrace AI. Because it's only when you use it, then you become more comfortable with it. The second thing that I'm really excited for is more on, I touched it earlier when I was talking with you around having an agent, like for instance, helping me out, right? So imagine if and I think this is going to be real, like where we have some sort of a brain or an AI that not just for an individual. Imagine you have something for an enterprise, for a company, with all your proprietary information, and also in the future, right? Some other countries are doing this sovereign AI. Our country's own brain with AI. So I think that's something I'm going to be excited about.
Thank you, Mike. So to end, I'd like to share an opportunity. So DepEd, DTI, and TEMT International, we have a scholarship for senior high school. So if you want to send any scholars for senior high school from the public sector, it's inclusivity. Yeah. So So we have a scholarship for senior high school on an online e-commerce course. It's all free. We teach AI, we teach cybersecurity and everything else so that it's inclusive. We cannot leave the public sector behind. So send us the scholars. DepEd and DTI, we have that. We have about 5,000 slots. Okay, so with that, let's give our panelists naman a big round of applause. Okay, one more statement Rao, from Colonel, yes.
We'd just like to close now that security is everyone's responsibility and it's a uniting factor for all Filipinos. So please let us not lose focus. This is our seas, our rights, and our future. And lahat po to sa atin lahat. Mahalin po natin ating bayan. Maraming salamat.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat, Colonel. Cybersecurity is all our concern. And thank you as well to Joel Santos. Palakpakan kay Joel. Great moderator and late night talk show host. Thank you so much, Joel.